You are listening to the Fresh 24 podcast with your host, Clinta Walker.
What's up, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Fresh 24 podcast. I'm excited about this motivational and inspirational segment that is designed to add value to your life. The topic today is the power of the pivot. Pivot is nothing more than the process of change, a strategic change. I love the definition from basketball. The pivot is a movement in which a player holding the ball may move in any direction with one foot, while keeping the other, the pivot foot, in contact with the floor. And the most important one is that you have to keep your pivot foot planted. Humans are the greatest adaptation machines in the world. We are, by nature, made to adapt. Put a human in any kind of stressful or competitive condition, and eventually, over time, the body and the mind will adapt and learn to overcome that situation. This is our superpower, and not enough people use it efficiently. I believe there are two key things needed to survive in this life. Number one, persistence, and number two, the power to adapt or pivot. Coming out of this pandemic, many are figuring out what they need to do to not only survive, but to thrive on the other side of this. Without a pivot, you will likely be stuck in the same place. Here are some suggestions on how to pivot. Keep yourself grounded while you're pivoting. Keeping the most important things important. The pivot mindset is developing a culture that embraces the pivot. Implementing a pivot. How to navigate change that will enhance your purpose. Before a pivot takes place, a resistance must be present. To overcome the resistance to the change, you must apply three things. DVF. I discovered a formula, D times V times F over R. D stands for dissatisfaction. There must be a level of dissatisfaction with the status quo. V stands for vision. You must be able to paint the vision of how life will be better after the change is implemented. And F, the first step. You must take the first step to get started down the road to change. And R is resistance, that which we all have to overcome. Pivoting, you are simply making a turn, changing direction. You can carry with you what you know, what you can do, and learn more. It's a tool to help us embrace the changes and find the purpose within them. And when you embrace a fresh 24, you realize that yesterday is gone. Today was not promised. So let's take full advantage of this gift. We all make mistakes, but tell yourself they're only lessons, not failures. You're here today on purpose and not by chance. Make it a great one. And I'll see you next time on Fresh 24.
Thank you for tuning in to the Fresh 24 podcast. Please like, share, and subscribe to this podcast.